Today we will be talking about Native American origin myths. And the purpose of a Native American origin myth is to entertain as well as explain how something came to be. An origin myth is just a story that explains how something came to be or answers questions like why the earth is round, why that river is there, things like that. And origin myths have certain characteristics or qualities that make them up. One is they are considered to be a true explanation of the natural world and how it came to be. Again, it tells a story explaining how something came to be, how that mountain was formed. Characters are often non-human and are typically gods, goddesses, and supernatural beings or mystical first people. So if we think back to the Moana introduction or the first scene in Moana, that is definitely a origin tale because it tells about Te Fiti's heart and how it was lost in the bottom of the ocean. And we do have non-human characters like Te Fiti, who is a mother island, and Maui, who is a demigod. And the setting is typically ancient or prior to the time when actual records were kept, typically set in a world very similar to our own, but with bits of the supernatural. So it can be taking place in our world today or a long time ago, but there are elements of the supernatural that we might not see today. The plot may take place between a supernatural world and our present day world. Again, that's like the setting. They're both taking place in a supernatural world or our own. Possess events that bend or break natural laws. Promote social action or try to tell people how to act or live. They keep core values like individualism, family, and community at the root and instilled in mythical heroes. There is a sense of mystery or the unknown, like in the Moana origin myth. There is a sense of mystery and unknown of what could happen or where the heart is or what will happen if it is found. Dualities or complete opposites such as night and day, good and evil, often play important roles. Have an emphasis on language, storytellers. So it's very dramatic and exciting, as we can see in Moana's origin myth, as the grandmother was definitely over-exaggerating the tale. Created to comment or analyze a real-world event. Real-world questions that myths often attempt to answer are, why are we here? Who are we? Why are we living? And what is our purpose? Again, a definition of an origin myth is traditional stories that were passed down from generation to generation that explained how life began. The qualities have to explain phenomena including customs, institutions, or religious rites, natural landmarks such as a great mountain, events beyond people's control. So they're meant to explain something incredible like a great mountain or how the world came to be. And when we are reading origin myths, we have to look for roles that nature and animals play in Native American life and note who or what is responsible for the start of life on Earth. This kind of gives us an insight on Native American culture when we see which characters are in the stories. It kind of tells us what their culture valued, their beliefs, things like that. So in the myths that we'll be reading this week, we have 3 tribes. The first is the Onondaga, and that is for the earth on the turtle's back. And the Onondaga were in the New York State area, but they were originally from Canada. They are French speaking and they are peaceful, no fighting. The Navajo, which is of course the Navajo origin legend, tell about the Navajo who were located around Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. And they were known to be fierce warriors and hunters, and they were forced off the land by the U.S. Army. And lastly, we'll be reading about the Modoc in When Grizzlies Walk Upright, and they're located in the Oregon and California region. And they have a highly developed method of weaving. They were known for independent villages, and they were forced from their land and then relocated to Oklahoma. So that is the basis of Native American origin myths. Be sure to pay attention to the qualities and characteristics in each story, because we will have an assignment that relates and you'll have to point out the certain characteristics.